going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video here with Average Guys Gaming. My name is Michael, and we're jumping back into some Street Outlaws 2. But today's not about racing. Today's about a requested video that plenty of you have asked for: tuning. I spent the majority of Friday night and Saturday night working on tuning. I started from a base platform, and I think I got a good handle on it. It's not perfect, so I'll have to do a kind of a part 2, but it's a good basic setup. But let's kind of jump into where I'm at. All right, so we're going to start with tuning. Full out parts makes a difference. I'm going to kind of work on, I've got some 68 parts I'm going to round up. I believe if they max out correctly, they should max out at 99. Then I'll get some things moved around. Mods do make a difference when it comes to tuning as well. Some of mine are just kind of in here. I'm hunting for the best mods to work in each particular place, and I'm still kind of toying with it. But I think for me, this is a good one here. Your advanced shift key reduces your shift time by 50%, reduces clutch wear by 25%, reduces engine heat buildup by 25%, letting you burn out longer. The other one I do like as well is increased clutch. Not sure exactly what it's doing here, but it's clutch weight giving you more torque, which would be good, but it kind of starts there. So I'm still kind of playing with a couple of these. I think I need to go and bet another gear ratio shifter, again, increasing acceleration. Faster you can get to the end of the finish line, the better. Top speed at that point doesn't make a difference. You don't want to be clearing 200 mile an hour, even though you should. I'd rather get there in, say, 6 seconds at 180 mile an hour than get there in, say, 6.5 or 6.8 at 210 mile an hour. So doesn't matter what speed you go as long as you get there first. So I'm playing with the mods here on the ECU. Nothing that I found that great. The reduced wind resistance definitely helps keep the car planted at different tracks. So I'm kind of toying with all that. But, and again, my other ones I'm using are power boost, which gives me more top speed, which is good. And then again, more acceleration. So still hunting. I don't know the good parts left or right, but that's where I'm at on those. So let's jump over to my tune. So I've got a couple of loadouts here. As you can see, I kind of been playing with all of them and kind of building from there. So the fourth one is the last one that I've been using. It kind of is where I'm at. These other ones were just tweaking of something back and forth, I think. So we'll delete 4 times 2. We'll delete that one. I think that's a different loadout I was using from something else. But let's jump into the advanced. So I'm going to break this down kind of class for class and seeing where I have stuff. So weight distribution, no question here. Send it to the rear. Sending it to the rear definitely puts more pressure on the back tires, makes the vehicle overall faster. You could slide this a little bit to, say, a little bit to front, especially if you're doing a wheelie like I had on the Fox body. Could definitely changing weight distribution here and or spring damperings or suspension springs. That'll kind of change things as well here. But so you could move this one here. It's not crucial unless it's of a huge effect, but it does help. Suspension. So damperings for the front and rear. The higher it's set, obviously the listing over here tells you it's going to be a softer suspension. So what I found here by having this maxed out, if my car gets out of control, I'm not doing that kind of wiggle back and forth where you're teetering on that line of out of control. Now, I do have a problem with grip on certain tracks. If I get into sand and stuff, you tend to have to deal with that on in. I've did a test run in Washington, kind of grinding for parts, and got all in the dirt, and I was all over the place. But again, that's dirty tires. It's a different thing. So having multiple parts you can switch on the fly to deal with. Track conditions is good, especially if you're going someplace, especially if it's a max out part, you can switch in and out, but you never know what track you're going to get. Same thing with the front. I think, again, smooth ride. I'd rather have that and more control than not. Ride height makes a difference here as well. So we're talking about control, because that's where I want to be. If I don't have to make huge corrections, or if I'm making a correction, that I'm not all over. Because if I can make a small correction and still be fast, that's what we want. I find that a low front end and a kind of a mid-range rear end pushes down evenly on the vehicle, because I'm pushing down on the front end, but as I'm coming across the windshield, there's the wind resistance coming across and onto the back of the vehicle. It's pressing again down on the road as well. Here, how about out? But again, most people know low ride suspension. I haven't tweaked it and thrown everything down to see what kind of control I get, but I do know when I was doing racing with the truck, it definitely, that's where I was at, was maxed out front end, low rear, and it helped sometimes, but sometimes I was super out of control. Spring extensions here. I have found that this, I don't know, like suspension spring and then suspension dampering. I know each one does one thing and one does the other. Less compression makes the vehicle smoother, but overall wobbly. So like, I know I've got this maxed out low, but I tend to have a more stable vehicle. I'm not all over and moving and being crazy. So I'm still tweaking with the suspension to see what works to plant the car, because that's really what you want. You want to plant and straight and go down, but every track is different. I've noticed no matter what you're doing, some races I'll hook up and I'll clear 250 mile an hour easy all day, and other ones I barely clear, say 180, and barely get to fifth gear. So there's a notion here, because obviously you're going to be changing quite a bit of things on the fly. So wing angle, again, is all about stability and control. I found a low wing angle makes you faster, but you're all over the place. So I kind of shot this thing forward, and I've kind of slowly backed down into where I'm at. I'm at 22.5, anywhere between 20 and 22. It's generally a spot where you want to be. And again, the settings here don't make a huge difference in the sense of your top speed. You can, you'll see a couple mile an hour or a couple 0.2 of a difference on your top speed, but it's again personal preference. I haven't tested any of this on a different vehicle to see if I get different results. My assumption would be yes, on the spring, ride heights, etc. The transmissions, gearing that we'll get to here in a few, I think aren't going to play a difference. But again, I'll do another video here once I've really gotten parts tweaked out here. Huge number difference. So tire pressures, if you use the default basic settings and set this on speed, it sets the tire pressures to like 18 or really low. I found that a higher tire pressure tends to be faster. In a sense, even though I don't have more grip, the tire heats up a little better. So this is where you really, when we're talking about tune, coming into dialing in your tire pressures. So 21, between 20 and 22 is kind of the sweet number, I think, here. Again, I've been tweaking with it. I'm 21.1. I wish there's a way to like fine tune these measurements like into like straight 20. But with tuning, I have this huge issue with this part, because as long as I've been in racing or doing racing, you can adjust tire pressures for the most part on the fly during a race. This is the only game you can't adjust anything. If you've ever watched the Street Outlaws series, they change their tune per road depending on what it's going to do. They'll take it, test it, and they'll adjust. You can't do any of that on this, which I think is a huge miss on the game, but it's a different video. It's a review video that I will be doing as well on this. So let's jump into where we're making or breaking on speeds. Obviously, goal is low sevens, like 7.0, 6.9. That's where we want to be. I think my fastest is 7.3, but so gearing. Final drive I have found is a crucial point in this when it comes to the tuning. You need to fine tune. The gearings don't super make a difference. They make a difference in the sense of where you're hitting and top speed. Obviously, as you see on the right hand side, my top speed says 183, which isn't super great, but again, that's including everything that I. So I'm gonna back up for a second. When I tuned this car, I did it in a base tune with no mods. So it's just a flat gold parts as is, and tuned and tuned and tuned. So I'm finding final drive is the torque ratio. So low, I'm fast, but I spin out. So I get a ton of tire spin. If I'm changing the gear ratio more to the right-hand side of the screen, I'll get more top speed, but it takes me longer to get there because it revs out. So as I spent a lot of time playing with this final gear, and this adjustment here, like 29, I think is the best set, 28, 29. When you're shifting gears, it doesn't spin the tire, and that makes me faster. So I keep tweaking with this. 30 is a good number, 0.30, as I keep playing with it. So my gearing, I know tall gears are bad, but I know short gears are bad too, and you're kind of in the middle. But if you keep your gears all generally kind of close in each other, you'll get there pretty quickly. So I kind of just staircased mine a little bit down. My first gear is obviously a tall short gear because obviously there's not a lot of room. So you're running out of that and into second gear. And I based this off of the default setups when it came to tuning. Everything was kind of in the middle, and my final drive was more towards the left-hand side of the screen, being imbalanced. So now I've lowered the gears themselves to be shorter, but I also have it tweaked so that I'm a little bit faster, and I can show you guys that in a test run. But this is kind of where I've set up. I don't know, again, if this will work for everybody, but it seems to be consistent, and that's what matters, I think, is more of the consistency than is anything else. So we're going to run a test pass so you guys can kind of see what my setup has done or what it looks like, and then then I'll address some more issues. Good burnout makes a good tune as well. Good tire temp should be about 155 on both tires if you can get it. Seems to be planted, obviously, that changes from track to track, but... And I jumped. Of course I did. Like an idiot. That was a waste of a really good burnout. I did that quite a bit when it comes to tuning the car. Jumped often. I don't know why I jump during a tune. I'm just trying to be good on the tree. See how I'm kind of flat and planted here? And then it doesn't roll very bad. So it's not a great 772 at 193. But again, I definitely jumped to start. Wasn't good shifts all the way across, so we'll run it again. So I'm not a pro tuner. All the racing games I play, I never tune a car. I generally use a default tune. In the first game, I used their tuner, and it was a lot easier to use because you could see the effects of what you were doing in the tune in itself. See, it sounds better. So 760, 7.6. Again, not a great speed at that point, but I definitely can go back and kind of adjust. We can adjust that final drive and see maybe, hey, can we get a little faster? So here's the tuning from the last video. Not last video, but sorry, from the last game. This tuning is definitely a whole lot better in the sense of trying to tune. You can actually see what you're doing. It kind of gives you an idea of what you're tuning based on fuel ratio, start, etc. And as you're actually adjusting, the right-hand side of the tuning profile actually shows you what your adjustments are doing to the car. Way better layout. We're going to keep this video short and sweet, guys. Again, kind of an intro to the tuning part of it. I know I've said it 100 times in this video. I'm not a perfect tuner by any means. I have zero clue really what I'm doing. I base a lot of it off of what's on the screen and what's reading, then do a little internet search to kind of see where I'm dampering it at based on default and just tweak as I go. Again, I'm not a pro tuner, but hopefully this kind of helps people get to where you started. And again, if you guys have a different tune you're using, send me a screenshot. I wish you guys could send them, post them on YouTube. That'd be super awesome. But if send them here on PlayStation Network. If you're on it, send it to me on the Xbox. Really, honestly, I've got a Twitter, AverageGuysGaming. Follow me there. You can send me messages. You can shoot me a screenshot of your tune. And honestly, I'll build a little profile of all of them. Let me know what car you're using too, and we'll kind of build a list and see what works. And I'll test them on on my own end, or test everyone's tune independently on this car and go from there. But I'm going to continue hunting better parts because I know I don't have the best mods. So, and I know that will make or break a lot of it because I know I can hit faster speeds, but if you haven't done it, hit that like and subscribe button for me, guys. Helps out more than you can possibly know. Thank you 1,000 times. We are in over 225 subscribers. That is monster numbers for me. We have pulled over almost 100 subscribers in a month. Actually, it's probably more than that if I go and look. In the last 28 days, over 87 subscribers. I don't know how to thank you guys enough. Let's keep pushing. Let's see how many subscribers we can get by March. That'd be insane. If we could pull another 100 on top of what we've already got, I'd love you guys forever. And I will. I don't know what I'll do. You guys throw something out there, comments what you would like to see at a goal or a monster goal. If we clear another 100 by March, that'd put me at 325. That'd be almost 200 subscribers in a year. That's unheard of for me when I thought about doing this channel. So again, thank you guys a ton. Thanks for all the video views, comments. Love the engagement. We're going to push on, but we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.